Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of Hear Her Roar. Rachel and I are back in studio at the Mic'd Up Studios in Parramatta, and we've got another huge episode for you. So, Rach, welcome back.
Thank you, and a big shout out to Linda for keeping my seat comfy last week. We love her, and she's just, well done. Come back all the time.
There were a few comments on the stream from last week of people asking us to do a trio episode, so it's definitely on the cards.
Could be a 3-hour special.
Just have to work out when we can squeeze it in. So, Rach, you don't have a jersey on this week, but tell us, what are you wearing for today's pod?
Benji Marshall's 300th game T-shirt. So this is from 2019, July 2019, when he played his 300th game. And it's actually my first time wearing it. It's been in the cupboard for 7 years. So I remember being at the game for it, and I want to get one of those Benji Marshall T-shirts. And I lined up. I was one of the first there to line up. And when the gates opened at CommBank, everyone flooded in. They were streaming in. And I was probably about the third in line. I'm like, oh, can I get a small Benji Marshall T-shirt? It's like, we're already sold out of small. So I'm like, okay, we'll get the medium then. But we lost to Parramatta that day. Yeah, Mitchell Moses led Parramatta. But after the game, Benji's family and friends put on a really beautiful haka for him. So it was actually really nice to witness.
Yeah, I remember that. We've done a few of those good shirts. I know the Robbie one was good. The Chris Lawrence one was good. And Woodsy's one, I always call that my What Would Woodsy Do shirt, because it's the silhouette of Woodsy with the headband and the long hair. And he just looks like Jesus. So the What Would Jesus Do, but it's What Would Woodsy Do. So I have on the 2024 Women in League jersey. So we wore this when we played Manly at Lackey in 2024. I think it was around 25 from memory. It was my mate Ryan's 40th birthday. So we started up at the Strathfield, made our way down Balmain Road to Lackey, and there was myself and Brett and then Ryan, and then two of our mates from work, Wolfie and Nick. So Wolfie is a massive Manly supporter and was giving it to us all week, and it was so good when we won. So I could give it back to him. It was a cracking game, that one. But anyway, let's talk about episode 10. Today we have a lot to get through, as always. We're starting to get more and more into the women's game now, because we've got Harvey Norman in full swing. We had the NRLW trial on Sunday. We're going to do the first part of our NRLW season preview, and then at the end, if we've got time, which we'll have a little bit of time, we'll talk about the Dolphins game from last weekend and preview the Knights game from this weekend. So, Harvey Norman Women's Premiership. We just completed round 2 of the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership, and the girls travelled to Newcastle to play against the Central Coast Roosters. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Played in Maitland. Yeah,
played in Maitland. That's correct. Yep. So we were actually out at Cogra watching the NRLW side play, but you had a chance to rewatch the game on Bar TV.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the game and what your thoughts were.
Okay, so we went down 20 to 14 against them, but I think it was a valiant effort. Newcastle actually runners-up in the competition last year. And last year when we did compete against them, we actually went down 26-6. So there's an improvement there already. Again, it was one of those games where we started well and then we got into the grind of it. And then just late in the game, Newcastle, took over and stuff like that.
They scored two late tries.
Two late tries. But a big shout out to Sage I'm going to get this right. Tao Talafua. She scored 2 tries for us as a second row, and looks like we've got a good little prospect there. She was also playing for the women's team last year in the New South Wales competition. So in terms of what we can improve and what we need to look at, there was a lot of little schoolgirl errors in there, just simple drop balls and simple errors that cost us potentially more points and a few tries. We actually played quite well in defence in the middle, and we actually forced a few errors on the Knights, but we didn't capitalise on that. So that's probably something I need to work on at training throughout the week. And the Newcastle team scored all their tries actually on the wing.
Right.
So that's probably another area that we need to look at, our edge defence. So their player, Tyler Brown, has actually scored 7 tries in the first 2 games of the competition already.
Wow.
So 4 in the first game and 3 against us on the weekend.
Okay. Interesting. So that sounds like they've picked up a good little outside back in that one up there.
Yes, a lot of speed. But like I said, there seems to be a lot of improvements going on. But there has been a lot of changes, as not just in the NRLW team, but also in our New South Wales Premiership team. There's a lot of turnovers. So it's probably going to take a while for those schoolgirl errors and those fundamentals of the games to improve.
Yeah. So despite the result, what are some positives that we can take out of that game into this weekend's game?
They're all in it for each other. You can see that that they're committed. There's some cohesion coming through. And they, like I said, the middle defenders hit really well and they can run a really good line. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them improve on that. We've got some big girls that use that are strong, that can power through the middle. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do that this weekend against the Bunnies.
Okay, nice. You mentioned a couple of individual performances. Was there anybody else that you would like to single out from that particular game?
Sage was probably the standout for me, but also want to give a shout out to Dawn Tui, who we've spoken about on the podcast.
She's one of your favourites
She
already.
is one of my favourites coming through. So she actually made her debut off the bench for the New South Wales Premiership team on the weekend. And she came on after about 20 minutes and played a good chunk of the game after that. She's just a dynamic little hooker. And really looking forward to seeing how she goes. She defends well. She leads the team around the park well. And Robbie Taylor, the coach, must have thought she's gone okay because she's in the starting lineup this weekend.
Oh, wow, already.
So, and she's only young. We know she's only come through the Tasha Gale, but
super impressive.
Super impressive for her. So really looking forward to seeing how she goes on the weekend.
Amazing. So that leads us into this weekend's game. So we're at round 3 already. So the season's moving quite quickly. There's only 14 games in the season. So we're almost, a fifth of the way through, if my maths is correct. So this weekend, the West Tigers girls take on the South Sydney Rabbitohs at Lidcombe Oval with a 12 o'clock kickoff. So we're planning on getting out there to watch the girls just to see how they're going and give them some support. Because, shock horror, it's not scheduled at the same time as any other thing.
Of the first time in a while.
That's on this weekend. So tell me, what's the importance of bouncing back in this particular game?
I think with such a young squad and a new squad, you don't want to be having repeated losses. It's only going to kill their confidence. You would hope to see they go out there and have another strong performance. And again, we had a draw and then lost 6 against a very strong Newcastle team. So there is obviously some talent in that team and there is some commitment in that team. So I really like to see how that comes through this weekend.
So green shoots, I guess
green shoots,
is what they say. So you mentioned that Dawn's playing, so she's obviously a player to watch.
Yes.
Any other players that we should be looking out for?
Modesty had another good game out in the centres on the weekend too. She comes in strong. And there's a few of our forwards, I can't pronounce all their names, but there's a few forwards. We've got a good forward pack and I'm really looking forward to seeing how both our starting forwards and our bench forwards are playing really strong.
And what about the Rabbitohs side? What do you know about this Rabbitohs side?
They're currently sitting in second or third position and they had a big win last week against the Wentworth.
50-6
against Wentworthville.
Yeah.
There are 3 ex-West Tigers players in their squad. So Claudia Brown, Claudia Nilsson and Sophie Curtin who are playing.
Emily is also, my understanding, Emily is also signed to them as well. She just hasn't played.
Because of injury. So, 3 girls from our squad last year are making up the team. And we know they've got a little bit of talent. Like Claudia Nelson was an up-and-comer playing under-19s in New South Wales, I believe. So she's got potential coming through. She's still young. And we all know how Claudia Brown has played over the years. So it'll be really interesting to see how they are going in that bunny system.
Yeah, and Sophie scored a try last week in that game against the Magpies, but I think a few of them did. So
when it's 50-6,
we saw Claudia Brown very briefly out at the NRLW trial, and she said that she wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do this year with footy, but the opportunity came up at the Bunnies, so she grabbed it with two hands. Just to she thought about taking some time off, but when this opportunity came up, she thought, why not give it a go and get some more footy under her belt. What are some key areas that the side needs to focus on this week?
Again, like I said, they need to make sure they take their opportunities. They did force errors on the nights, but they weren't able to capitalise on that. I'd like to see them try to take those opportunities and not only just to score more points, but put more pressure on their opposition team.
Mm-hmm. And so this week, as I said, it's round 3. We've had a draw and a loss. Yep. I think because of the size of this competition, it's only top 5 for finals. Yes. So what does success look like from this particular round, especially in terms of that?
well, looking at the score that the Bunnies put on, you know, they obviously got a very attacking team, so probably keeping their score down, like not letting many points in. But again, like I said, there's complete turnover in this team, and I just want to see them continually to compete. And as we have in the first 2 games, compete in defence, compete in attack, and just work on their fundamentals of the game, because that looks like the areas that we're sort of missing out in.
And that's something that we both listened to the Craig Sandercock interview on Behind the Roar earlier today, and that was something that Sandy spoke about that they're really working on throughout the pathways with Dave, is getting those fundamentals in, getting those fundamentals right. So I guess, you know, for the proof to be in the pudding, we need to see that.
Absolutely.
And because we don't have, like in the men's game where you've got Flegg and Cup and NRL happening at the same time, you've really only got that opportunity to get those right in the Harvey Norman comp before those particular girls move up to the NRLW. What about who needs a big game? Who are you looking to have a big game?
I'd like to see our wingers, obviously, with having all our points scored down their side. I'd like them to step up, and I'm sure they'll do some work on their defensive reads and over the week when in camp. So, yeah, I'd like to see those wingers step up and just see if they can, you know, rectify the areas that are made in their defensive reads.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting out there and watching these girls for the first time. I haven't really seen, we didn't get a chance to go to any of the Tasha Gale or Lisa Fioli games this year. But yeah, looking forward to getting out there and enjoying Saturday
and just watching some of our girls. And, you know, we would encourage everybody to get out there to watch our girls, you know, see how they go. Then we can, you know, hopefully that comes through for the NRLW team throughout this season as well.
And that's what Sandy spoke about on the Behind the Raw episode, is that these girls, the idea is just like New South Wales Cup, is these girls are designed to be the future of our West Tigers NRLW, so we don't have to go begging and stealing from other teams, that we build from that base, that all the way down to that Lisa Fiola, those 16-year-old girls, where we can really start to build those fundamentals. What does it mean to be a West Tigers NRLW player? And then we start to see that. Just to sort of, you said that we've had quite a big turnover of the girls. Yes. It was very similar to what we had with Cup, I guess. We've had a lot of change in the men's side as well, and it did take them a couple of weeks. Too. We saw what they did on, what day was it? Saturday against Manly. Yes. Now that they've got their combinations, yes, we are bringing a few up, which is sort of what I see that Dawn Tui kind of experience is. We saw Jared Hayward get an opportunity on Saturday, and he took it with 2 hands and ran with it. And that's what we're going to be looking for from these girls, in order to, as the season goes on, you just build those combinations, get those connections firing, and then the rest will come.
And having spoken with Craig and Charmaine and Dave, they want to make sure that these New South Wales Premiership team are in there, being around the NRLW girls, learning from them, and that both pathways for the girls are similar to what they're doing in the NRLW, so that cohesion is there for when they do go up into the NRLW.
Definitely. So speaking of the NRLW, we did head out on Sunday afternoon to Cogra, to Jubilee Stadium, to watch the NRLW side in their trial game. Yes. So they played the Dragons. So it was a great game. So it was you and I headed out there, and Yodi headed out there as well. The girls finished the game 8 tries to 3, which was really, really impressive. So there were no conversions attempted due to it being a trial. So a few people asked me, you know, was our goal kicking that bad? It's like, no, they just didn't bother with the goal kicking. It was 3 25-minute thirds.
It was really weird setup.
Yeah, so it was a 75-minute game. The first 25 minutes, we basically had what we would expect to be our starting 13 in round 1 out on the field. So we had the likes of Caitlin Turnbull in fullback. We had Emily Bass and Lily Rogan on the wings. I'm going to stuff this up. Now that I've got into it, I'm probably going to lose it somewhere along the line, but let's see how I go. In the centres, we had Rakia and Shanae Lendl. Then in the halves, we had Bucky and Racine McGregor. Our starting forwards were Salah in the number 8 jersey, and in the number 10 jersey, I do have her name written down here because she is a new face, Shanice Monschau.
Yes.
Then in hooker, we had Salma, who is fantastic to have Salma back. Then in the second row was Kezi and Shaylee Bent. And in number 13 was Holly Wheeler. I got it. I made it. So first try that was scored, none other than Supermum, Rakia Horn.
And I turned up right as she went over the try line. I was running a bit late.
Yeah,
right.
It was a beautiful, beautiful try over in the corner. And that's exactly what we missed last year while Rakia was off with her two little bubs. So the other try scorers on the day, Salma Noor, Shaylee Bent, Portia Burke, Tarina Tetamaki, Taylor Amiatu, your girl Namoy, and then one other player that I can't remember. Neither of us could
remember
the one that was
who
it was.
As Nay? No.
It was, she sort of carried a couple of players over the line, so we didn't see what number it was. Okay. And yeah, so unfortunately I apologize to whoever it was that scored that 8th try, but pretty impressive that we had that many girls scoring. So after the first 25 minutes, Sandy basically pulled all of the starting 13 off. So Salma went back out. I think Bass went back out for a little bit. There were a couple of girls that went out for a few more minutes. Went back out there. Yep. But as a whole, majority of the starting 13 sat out for the remainder of the game. But what I loved about the remaining 50 minutes, which was a bit weird, so there was 2/3 running to the opposite end of where we were sitting, so we didn't get to see many of those tries. No. And then they finally ran down our end and the girls still scored a few in that last 25 minutes. But what I loved was that the intensity didn't drop. Once we took those starting girls off, those girls kept firing. There was a little lapse or two in defence, but the fact that they only scored 3 tries across 75 minutes, one of which was to Montana Clifford, which breaks my heart that she left. She was one of my favourites. But when I saw that she scored, I was like, okay, I guess
it's expected.
I guess I'll take that one. She was a weapon for us and she'll no doubt continue to be a weapon. But who were the standout performers for you on Sunday?
I was really impressed with Racine. And she only did play that first 25 minutes. She just adds so much what's the word I'm looking for? Leadership around that half spark. Mm-hmm. She's got that little bit of a spark. You can see that she's led teams around. I mean, she's played Kiwi. She's played. So, Racine was a standout for me. And I was really impressed with some of the runs Bassie made out from the back. She was strong and really hitting the line.
Super strong.
And Salma. I'm so pleased to see her back because we thought we'd lost her. She didn't have a contract and then I think she got a train and trial at the start of the year and she impressed Sandy and now she's back in the squad. So
so for me, obviously Rakia, to have not played for that long and then to come out and she hasn't
she hasn't lost a beat.
Hasn't missed a beat, hasn't missed a step. She was hitting that line and there was one particular tackle where we were just like, wow.
Someone's head just got flung back.
Ponytails flying everywhere. And I was just
she hasn't lost her speed or anything.
No,
she looks better.
There is no self-preservation with that woman. She just got out there and she's like, I'm taking this game with 2 hands and I'm going to carry these girls on my back. And she just led, even though she was on, in the centres, she was taking some of those first hit-ups with so much force.
So strong.
I'm so excited that she is back. Also for me, it's hard to go past Racine. We said after the season launch that she looks fit.
So fit.
And to see her out there, she looks like she actually physically looks like a different person.
Absolutely.
Structurally, her face has changed. That's how much her body composition has changed in that off season. And
just the way she's holding up the ball and the space she's already creating for her players around. She's adding a whole
line pretty much every set. Yep. There was none of this, I'm just going to pass the ball and hope for the best.
She was committed.
She was getting in there and she has such a powerful boot as well. That was one big thing I noticed. There were a few times she got caught on the 5th tackle and so Lasana had to kick. But even Lasana's kicks have improved in performance and power from the last time we saw her. So it has been a while since she has played and I was a little bit worried about how she was going to go after having quite a long time on the sideline. But she looked so comfortable back in that 6 jersey.
that goes back to those fundamentals of the game. You can see already
Mm-hmm.
that that's been a big part of what we've been targeting in the preseason.
Yeah. What about areas that looked promising to you? What were you excited about from that particular game?
Well, you spoke about it. I think that obviously there's some depth plays in there because we didn't lose a beat when our starting team came off, but our attack looks to be firing. I'm really excited about our attack. Our outside backs were really hitting the line and making plenty of yardage meters coming off that. But again, we've got ones like Salah and Kezi who are just leading from the front out there already again this season. So
yeah, for me, it was just there were support players everywhere. Yeah. So having Caitlin Turnbull at the back, she's to me on Sunday she looked like a female dream.
Yes,
like
she's a slices through. Doesn't
she will follow that ball. She is looking for a chance to attack and to chase a kick or to be snooping around and find lazy markers. And that was one thing I noticed about Salma. Salma had a couple of little sneaky runs from dummy half as well. And I was like, wow.
It looks like she's going to take her opportunity. And she's been offered another opportunity to be within this club. And I think she's determined to take it.
Yeah, 100%. So the depth in the lower, I won't say the lower numbers because we did have 26 girls take the field at differing times throughout that game. And I just feel that one thing we've always struggled with as a club, and we've talked about this
for
to the nth degree with the men's side, and we will again today, is that our depth has always let us down. That once we lose a player in our starting 13, 17, we just drop off the cliff in terms of intensity. But I didn't see that on Sunday.
No. And I was sitting with, you met my friend Nicole, who's in the women's coaching system, Natasha Gale in New South Wales. And I sat with her for a little bit during the game, and she was so impressed with just what you've spoken about. That doesn't look like any of those players that are not in the top 13, not in the top 17 would miss a beat if they had to step up and be within that squad. She was super impressed with our fitness and just, like I said, the depth that is in this squad. She's super impressed with how far we've come in such a short time compared to last year.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It is exciting.
So what everybody will say it's only a trial. Yes, I understand. But what does the result tell us or doesn't tell us about this particular side?
I guess it tells us that we have had a turnover in troops, but I think they've all brought into the systems that we've been that the pathways and the coachings have put in place. So it looks like they've spoken about, I guess, we've spoken about the fundamentals and having cohesion and being grateful for this opportunity. And it appears they've all bought into what we're selling out there in the coaching system.
Yeah, I think Sandy spoke about that on the interview today, is that, yes, it's only a trial, but he just wanted to see that, as you just said, what they've put in place over the last 3 or 4 months, including the camp that they took the girls away to, is actually bearing fruit.
Yes.
Obviously, we're not going to really know that until round 1, but at least he said the processes and the workflows are happening. We're seeing that the girls are responding to the training. The girls are responding to what they're asking of them. So
meeting all their targets.
Fitness-wise, definitely. He said, still definitely a few things to work on between now and round 1.
But you don't want to be perfect at this part of the season.
No, that's right. So I am very excited.
I'm so excited.
Because that leads us into we'll now do a little bit of a part 1 of a season preview. So the countdown is almost over. There are 10 days left until we take the field in round 1 against the Parramatta Eels at 11:50 a.m. At CommBank Stadium, so just down the road here. Of course, the NRL screws us over again and puts us as the last game of the round, so we've got to wait. The poor Sharks have two Thursday night games to start their season, which is bizarre.
It is. It's hard for supporters to get out on a Thursday night after work, and if you want to go and support your girls, it makes it incredibly hard.
And it's the same time slot technically as the men, so it's a 7:45 kickoff. Men's is 8 o'clock. Yep. So they're not going to get first-rate TV coverage on Fox League. They'll be on the backup channel. Yep. We'll at least get on Fox NRL being 11:50 because the men's game is actually a double header for the Eels. So it's the Eels home game for both the NRLW and the NRL. our plan is to go watch the girls
Yes.
and then get out of there.
Yes, and I'm not staying around to watch Parramatta first.
No, that's right. So, yeah, there's exactly a week and I think we're at 7 days, 2 hours and 23 minutes until the season
exciting.
kicks off. So
It's been a build-up.
it's been a long,
It has been a long build-up.
long preseason. Let's start with our 3 top players to watch. So we'll start from 3, go down to 1. You go first, I'll go second. We'll see if we're similar or different.
My first one is Caitlin Turnbull. She came out of a bit of a surprise packet last year. She can just find that try line. She's a Canberra girl, so she's come. We didn't know of her much of her when she came into our team last year, but yeah, I think Caitlin will be our leading try scorer and be our player of the year. That's
nice.
my
So she is my number 1. So I'll quickly pop.
Oh, I went the opposite. I was like 3 is your top, 1 was
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then we've both put her as our top player. So for Caitlin, she was West Tigers NRLW Rookie of the Year and West Tigers NRLW Players Player, or was she player? Yeah, Players Player, because
Players
Sala
Player.
was Player of the Year. So the girls had voted for her as Players Player. So she, as you said, she came into our squad last year. She's played on the wing. She's played a bit of fullback. It looks like from the trial they're going to be playing her fullback this year, which, as I said, super exciting prospect because she is amazing in defence, but she just loves to find that ball. And so she will be in that line, supporting around the ruck, looking for any opportunity that she can. So I love the tip for top try scorer because I definitely think she could be up there. And she played Prime Minister's 13.
So she's had a bit of rep exposure too.
And she scored 4 tries in that game, I'm pretty sure. And she only played like 25 minutes.
That's a fair effort.
It is. So, yes, Caitlin is definitely one that I'm super excited about. Okay. So who have you got next on your list?
Racine. We've spoken about her already, just that little bit of creativity she has around that halves, and she's going to bring so much leadership to our team, and which will be great for Latu, as we've said, because she's had so much Lasana Lutu, because she's had so much time off. So having that experience and that leadership around there is really going to help Lasana as well.
Beautiful. My number 2 is Sala.
We just love her.
Nothing but love for this girl. We saw her
we had a
on
chat
Sunday.
With her.
Apparently she wasn't feeling 100%, but had given it everything in those 25 minutes. This girl just lives and breathes the West Tigers NRLW now that she's joined us from the Roosters. You would never know she was a Roosters player. Still massively devastated that she didn't get picked for Origin, and I think that's just going to put a fire in her belly this year.
Agree.
I think she will be doing everything to prove that she should have been picked in that side, and
she never has a bad game.
No.
Never has a bad game.
No.
Which is another reason why I don't know why she we won't go down that one.
Well, when Gary and I were doing the NRLW edition of the West Tigers pod, we would do our 3-2-1. Yeah. And you couldn't just, every week it's like 3 points for Sala. Yeah. You tried to find other people. Yes. But as you said, she just puts in. I reposted on Instagram. She was named as a prop to watch by the NRLW, and I reposted that on the Hear Her Raw Pod Instagram page. And somebody dropped into my DMs and said, "Here's a question: why haven't we played her on the wing?" I was like, "Because she's a prop." And he's like, "No, but think about it. She's like that nuggety Brian To'o." Because there was that one particular video that they put in there of when we were playing Parramatta. I think it could have been our first game where she gets the ball at least 25 metres out. She runs straight, but then she runs on a diagonal and scores in the corner. And I was like, yeah, but no.
No, leave her at prop.
We'll still keep her in the middle. She shores up that middle in both attack and defence.
And she plays such a physical game. She always plays it with so much passion and enthusiasm.
She's sort of like Terrell because she plays pretty big minutes as well for a prop.
She's not afraid of the hard work. She does give away a penalty here or there, or she's prone to a 10 in the bin.
10 gets sent off, yep.
But
it's passion.
Love that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about her.
Like Alex Seyfarth, you know, we don't, Anyway, who's your top pick?
My top pick, or my one of my picks because I did in a different order to you. And I've spoken about her on here before, but it's a young 19-year-old that we've got from Queensland in Namoy Geezer.
Yeah.
She's a centre. She played in the centres on the weekend and shifted between right and left centre. She's a strong girl. She's tall.
She had a beautiful try assist.
Yeah.
And the sort of flick around the outside.
Yeah, so she's got that athleticism and everything in there. And I know in speaking with Charmaine, she also said that Namoy's one to watch out for, that she could have a big year. But even Sandy mentioned her in the Behind the Raw podcast that they released this afternoon. So she may not be in the starting squad at the start of the season, as Charmaine did tell us, but she looks like she could break into that starting side.
Oh, 100%. From her effort on Sunday, she did not look out of place at all.
It's
for 19.
When you see how athletically built she is for a 19-year-old, you're going to be wowed.
Tall.
She's tall,
Like,
strong.
I'm not tall, but she was a good foot taller.
And my friend
me.
Nicole, when I was sitting with her, she's like, isn't she a back rower? I said, no, she's plays in the centre. She's just that sort of a build. So that's the sort of build she has. She's built like a back rower, but plays in the centre position.
No, she was fantastic. And as Charmaine mentioned when she was here, she gave up her spot in under 19 Origin to focus on the West Tigers, which is
Queensland. She's been Queensland
incredible.
So that just shows her commitment to not only her game but also the team.
Amazing. I love that so much. My final pick is Brooke Talatena. So Brooke is, I don't have favourites, but if I did, Brooke would be up there.
She's beautiful.
Since the first day that Brooke took the field as a young and shy little, because she was quite young as well. And then unfortunately the final game of the 24 season against the Sharks, which we won, which there's not many wins, but Brooke was the winning try scorer for that game. But also during that game, she injured herself and therefore she missed the whole of last year. So she played for well over 25. I think she played close to 40 minutes on Sunday. And again, didn't look like she'd missed a beat. She posted on her Instagram afterwards that it was well over 400 and something days
time out of the game.
between games, and how grateful she was. And because we'd seen Brooke quite often last year at games, and I was constantly asking her how her rehab was going, and she's like, yeah, good, strength. Next week I'm going to start running again. And then she was just so excited every step of the journey. She put everything into that rehab. And I'm really interested to see where they're going to use her this year. On Sunday, it sort of looked like she was playing in the halves, but she could have also been playing as that ball-playing 13. That's sort of what we played her as at the end of the 24 season. She's also played second row, which is where she started. And then when Nevada moved on, we sort of used Brooke in that ball-playing 13. So she's a slightly bigger, like she's not a big body for a 13, but she's got that lateral movement and she's got that ball playing ability. And then when I was at Concord on Monday evening, I actually saw her and gave her a big hug and asked her how the body was, and she said she'd actually pulled up really well, which
great news.
Is what you want to hear from not playing for over 400 days to putting in a solid effort like she did. So I am super, super excited for Brooke this year. So this side has had, like you mentioned with the New South Wales Cup, we have had a huge amount of turnover. There were many times throughout the off-season where Watch Her Footy would be posting team news and how many players, and I'm pretty sure there was one she put up where we had 9 out of 24 and we were just like,
where are we going to get these players
What is happening with our football team? Are we going to have a football team come round one? And it did get pretty scary there for a while. But we have a huge number of new signings, a few that we've already mentioned. But to go through them all, we now have Racine McGregor from the Dragons, Holly Wheeler from the Bulldogs, Shaylee Bent has joined us from the Titans, Shanae Lendl also from the Dragons, Leah Ollerton from the Knights, who didn't actually get to play on Sunday, so we didn't get a chance to see her. Shanice Monshaw from the Bulldogs, who Sandy gave big raps to today. Namoy, who you've mentioned, who has joined us from the Brisbane Tigers in the BMD Cup. Linnea Monshaw, who I'm assuming is Shanice's sister because it's quite a unique surname, and she was also from the Bulldogs. Then we've also signed 2 supplementary players in Taylor Amiatu from the Eels and Harmony Kautai from Super Rugby.
Okay.
And then we also have a series of development players in Vasaliva Folletti, who has joined from Tonga. So Charmaine was saying that that's a really huge thing, that she's come straight from Tonga, straight into the development side of the NRLW team. Then there's Diamond Graham, who has also joined us from up in the BMD Cup, and then Kayla Henderson, who played under 19s New South Origin last year.
It's a whole new squad, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy. And so on Sunday we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those girls start in that starting 13.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So it just goes to show that sometimes we need to make these tough decisions.
Yes,
We've
absolutely.
spoken about this a lot, that some really tough decisions needed to be made around our NRLW side at the end of last season. And, bringing in Sandy was the first decision that they made, and then building a coaching staff around him. So they've got a new strength and conditioning coach. They've got Dave in now with Pathways. They've got new assistant coaches across all levels as well.
And a lot of these people are coming with a lot of history in the game, like a lot of experience. So Dave's been with the Bulldogs and the Warriors, and Sandy's
in female games. He
yeah.
was also with the Tigers in the lower grades
so
for
he
the
comes
men's
with a lot of
before he
experience.
moved.
Sandy's comes with a lot of experience.
Yep.
Charmaine's got a pedigree as well. So we're not just getting anyone, we're getting people who've got runs on the board.
Exactly. And that's what sort of Sandy was saying about some of these players that we've picked as well. Like, as you mentioned, Racine McGregor has played every level of the sport ball. She hasn't played Origin because technically she can't, but she's played for her country and done very well. She's won a Dally M, like the pinnacle of rugby
player
league.
of the year as well, player of the year for International Player of the Year as well, I believe. So
so she has a huge amount of experience and a huge amount of game time behind her. And I guess that's sort of why a few people asked questions when that announcement was made about whether she's still, is she still good enough to continue playing? There were some questions around her at the Dragons last year, but as we've said, I think we're going to be talking a lot about Racine this year. The attitude change to undergo such a dramatic physical
to lose
physical change means that there has to be that mental change that happened first in order to lead to that.
And when you've got such a young squad and a high turnover of players, you need the likes of Racine's leadership. You need the Holly Wheelers in that squad to take some of the onus, I guess, or the troubles away from Salah and Kezi, because those two have been carrying us in terms of leadership the last few years. So having Holly come in, having Racine come in, takes the pressure off Kezi and Salah as well.
That's right. So that leads me into my next point, which they announced the leadership team this week, which includes all 4 of those girls that you just mentioned. So Kezi has been named as captain. Yeah. And the story that Sandy spoke about today was, I was like, that's our Kezi. So if anybody hasn't watched it just yet, spoiler alert, he met with Kezi when he first joined the club, and Kezi basically said to him, if the best thing for the team and the club is for me not to be captain, go for it.
And we talk about team first mentality with this club with the NRL boys. It's filtered through to our girls as well.
And so Sandy said he left that conversation and went, there's no choice. Yep. Nobody else I want to be the captain. Yep. So they haven't gone co-captains this year. It's just Kezi's straight out captain, and then Salah, Racine and Holly, as you said, is the leadership team, which you think about it. Kezi, 20 caps in Origin, has played for Australia every year since, I think, 2012. Yep. Salah, who has also played Origin for Australia. Racine, who, as we just mentioned, a whole bunch of credentials. And Holly Wheeler, who has also played Origin and for her country.
It's years and years of experience in that leadership.
You couldn't ask for a better team to support the likes of your Namoys and your Caitlin Turnbulls, who's only in her second year, and those other young players that are just going to be, soaking up every piece of experience that they can, and having 4 players like those 4 girls, especially in a competition that's still quite young.
Yes.
When you think about it, you know, we've talked a lot about the big four clubs or the four clubs that have been in the competition from the beginning. The Warriors, I guess, have had a little bit of a rougher ride than the other three because they did miss those COVID years and they've just started to build back up again. But your Roosters, your Broncos, Newcastle and your Sharks, who have been those longer standing NRLW sides, we won't go into it too much today, but the Roosters, again, today announced Jasmine Strange is extended to 2028. Yesterday they have announced that they've signed yet another Rugby World Cup international player. Just the question is, how do teams like the West Tigers, the Bulldogs, Canberra Raiders, how do we compete with that when...
That's $1 million question because you can't.
Yeah.
And today the Telegraph released their top 50 players to watch out for this season in the NRLW competition. We had 3 in Kezi, Salah and Racine. And Racine's only just come to us. The Roosters had 10.
10. And probably the 10 that were in Origin that we spoke about.
How can one team get 10 and some teams be lucky to get 1 or 2 in that 50 to watch? 10 out of 50 is a huge amount of to watch. And, I don't know. Like, I could go on about it, but I won't.
Yeah.
Makes me angry.
It's just frustrating when you want to see the women's competition do well, but it won't until the playing field is leveled.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't look like that's ever going to happen now, especially with the way that the contracts have changed. In the beginning, when it was single-year contracts, you did have a lot of player movement, so you had the opportunity of players to shuffle around a bit and to spread the love. But then the second that moved to the extended contracts, the Roosters in Brisbane were just locking down players for 4 years before they'd even gone to market.
You look at somebody like Jessie Southwell, she would have been a brilliant player to have in that Newcastle squad moving forward over the next few years. Well, she's gone to Brisbane, hasn't she? So whenever there's a potential talent coming through another squad, these 2 clubs are just poaching.
Yeah. And we've heard a few rumours that we
can't
we can't go into because they are just that rumours. But if it does come off,
it's going to annoy a few more people.
Yeah. But anyway, breakout candidates who, apart from Namoy, because I know you're super excited, anybody else that you're looking forward to seeing in this side this year?
I actually did have Brookie down as mine, but we've spoken about that. I'm just really excited to see somebody come back after having the amount of time she's had off. And we've met her a few times. She always comes up and gives us a hug whenever she sees us at the football. She's just such a kind, humble person. I just really want to see her succeed.
Yeah. And her family is beautiful as well. So, I'm super, super excited for her. In a similar kind of situation, we've already spoken about Rakia a little bit. So she's having, Rakia, Brooke and Christian Pio is like having 3 brand new players because we missed them all of last season. Christian, she did say after the game on Sunday, we had a chat with her. She said that she was feeling it, that, it had been a while since she'd been out there, but she hasn't lost that offload. She was leading the NRLW in offloads before, what year are we? 25. In the 24 season, she did finish the season with the most offloads in the game.
Bring that around, Caitlin. Thank you very much.
And she did throw a couple on Sunday, so I'm very excited to see her as well. But some of these younger girls, it is a little bit tricky because they haven't had the exposure. So we are definitely going to be bringing you more information about these young girls as the season comes in.
But Shaylee Bent, she played really well on the weekend too.
She did, yeah.
I think we've got a really good strike back rower there coming through. She scored a really good try.
Yeah, so Kezi on one side, Shaylee on the other. Running off a Racine short ball. Love it. So based off that, what are your expectations for the season?
I don't think we get the wooden spoon. I actually think that's going to go the Dragons this year. I think we watch the Dragons play and they're very one-dimensional. Tegan Berry just does
everything.
Yeah, go to Tegan Berry. Go to Tegan Berry. I'd like to see us just be more competitive this year. I don't think this year is so much about are we going to make finals. It's just about being more competitive and getting some wins on the board this year.
That's the big thing for me. My expectation is that we don't leave a game thinking we could have done more.
Yes, and I think that's the coach's, thoughts as well.
Yeah, 100%. So next week, unfortunately, you won't be here, but we'll look at doing a bit more of a continuation of the preview where we look at our draw, we look at a few other things and start to get excited because we'll only be 3 days away. But let's jump in and talk about the boys for the last. We've only got 18 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
So on the weekend, we played the Dolphins. So we were back at Campbelltown hoping to build on the Leichhardt Oval victory from the week before. But unfortunately, we went down 36-22. What was your spark? So what was the moment, the player or the effort that gave you a lift and showed you what this team could be?
Red's try. He just powered over. He's been playing so well the last couple of weeks and he was so deserving of that try underneath the post. He had to do a lot of work to get that try. So.
I didn't even realise because the ball went up, everybody was chasing, and then next minute it was Alex Seyfarth. I was like, what? Hang on.
Well done, Red.
That was a Jareen Buller style try.
And he deserved it because he had a great game again. So, that was my spark.
Beautiful. Mine was Jerome.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure on him to give a repeat performance of that Leichhardt game. Everyone was saying, so what? He scored 3 tries. Yeah, so what? He did this, that, and the other. We want to see that time and time again. On Saturday, he had 3 try assists. Yes. So the Sione try assist twice, and then the Alex Seyfarth.
His short kicking game was brilliant.
It was fantastic. And so I just thought that game helped to solidify that, start to push that pressure down a little bit further. He's starting to get his swagger back again. He's celebrating with his boys after a try. He's really getting in and amongst it.
The Luai's back that we needed to have back.
And it's the perfect timing because we really need him for this second half of the season. What about the frustration? So the play, the decision, or the pattern that had you shaking your head?
The bloody injuries. We just can't cop a trick. We found a stat and shared it on some of our platforms. We have been copping 2 injuries in nearly every single game this year. And again, we had Herbert, shoulder.
Yeah.
Madden, out for HIA. We can't take a trick with the injuries and it just completely stuffs up our combinations during the game and our bench rotation. It's just so frustrating. And I feel sorry for the coaching staff and I feel sorry for the boys because they're playing with 110% commitment and then these things happen again and again and again.
Yeah. With the injuries thing, there was a few of us, so I went to Concord on Monday afternoon for a meeting and I was there with Maddie and we were there early and we were chatting about it and I just said, what do we do? Is it a training thing? Is it a tackling technique? What is causing all these shoulder injuries? And the NRL physio actually did a segment on it and he said it is just sheer bad luck. It's
how much
mechanical.
bad luck can one club get?
That's right.
Honestly,
it's a traumatic injury, so it's not something that is made worse by having a weak joint or overtraining. It's just a complete accident. The pecs, the 2 pecs, I'm still a little bit curious about though. I feel like sometimes some of our players are quick to just throw the arm out, and I think that I think can also lead to that shoulder not being potentially in the right spot. But the NRL physio doesn't seem to think it's a training or a technique issue, but
get some sage on that joint out of Concord. Honestly, we get bad luck every year for different reasons. It's about time we had some good luck.
So my frustration was, and I know I'm probably going to cop flack for this, but I don't care, it's the bunker. The bunker can watch a replay and rule whether a ball has been knocked forward or knocked backwards. But the bunker can't rule on whether a ball is thrown forwards.
Yes.
I don't understand.
With all the technology we now have in the game, how can we not find a way to determine what passes?
Put a sensor in the ball.
Yes.
Put I don't know what. They claim that they can't because
you can have a pass that's thrown back. I mean, you can have a pass that's thrown back and then floats forward. And how do you, if there's a sensor in but they scored 2 or 3 tries off what we thought were 4 passes.
At least 2, because there was one on Code Sports that was very, very obvious that the dummy half picks up the ball, runs around the playmaker and then passes it to the runner. And it's just, you can
And then the
see
one
it.
with Blue Eye.
That was called forward.
It wasn't forward. Like, it drives me insane.
But the other thing with the bunker as well is your favourite, Fanua, drops puts the ball over the line.
15,000 look at it and they still determine that he lost the ball. I mean, we know Fanua's good for a lost ball.
But
you can't determine.
You could not 100% tell me that he lost that ball.
And when I thought it went to the attacking team. If you weren't sure.
Yeah, it's inconclusive. You keep your challenge. You just
it goes to the attacking team, but not for the Tigers.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. The last thing, the talking point. So the thing everyone should be discussing coming out of this week's game.
Well, I originally had put down the Campbelltown crowd.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
And that's been done to death. And then it just started conversations about, it's a Tigers, Balmain Tigers versus West Magpies thing. I don't think it's got anything to do with that. And I'm so sick of everybody talking about the Magpies and talking about Balmain. It's been 26 fucking years. Honestly, sorry. I'm so frustrated by it. Like, it's 26 years. It's all I know. I became a West Tigers supporter at 15.
Yeah.
Everything before that is gone. Just start following this club.
Yeah.
Go to Leichhardt. Go to Campbelltown. Wear whatever bloody coloured jersey you want to wear, but just get behind this club and our players because it just frustrates me.
Yeah. Campbelltown was the same for me. So there were 12,500 people out there. Ben told us on Monday night that did include the 400 dancers and all the kids that did halftime heroes, and whether or not all of those dancers stayed, I don't believe they did. But we did talk quite a lot on Monday night at the FRG meeting about what we need to do or what we could look at doing for Campbelltown, because next year we've got no choice.
Yes, yeah.
We literally have no choice. And if we can't change the narrative and get people out to Campbelltown and supporting the boys and creating that atmosphere that we get at Leichhardt, we have a whole year where we're in for a world of hurt.
We are.
And the only people that can fix that are the fans.
Like, the crowd that was there was loud. I'll give them that. But I travel. I don't drive. So I come from Parramatta, here in Parramatta, and make it out to Campbelltown, which is sometimes 3 trains for me to get to.
Well, it was, on the weekend.
Yeah. And then sometimes if there's a game that finishes at 10 o'clock, I then got to navigate home on public transport, sometimes by myself or whatever. If I can get out there and do it, what's stopping anybody else from getting out there to do it? It's plausible. It's there. The train station's right outside the door.
It's the easiest place to get to with public transport.
Absolutely.
It's on the airport line from the city. So there are trains literally every 15 minutes.
But then again, I get the schedule. 3 o'clock's not a great schedule. They get games on Thursday night. Again, not a great schedule. So the NRL scheduling has also got answers.
Yeah. There was something that they brought up on Win, Learn or Draw about players who find getting to Campbelltown, because it's a Sydney and it's slightly out of Sydney Metro, they would usually have to drive themselves.
Okay.
But the problem is, when was the last time we played a Sydney club at Campbelltown?
Absolutely.
The Rabbitohs last year.
There you go.
No Sydney clubs this year.
No.
Newcastle, Brisbane, Dolphins, Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even give us the teams that help us to fill the ground.
No, but they're going to give us the Warriors in a geographical area that has a lot of Polynesian and Warriors that will go, and it'll be a 50-50 split between Tigers and Warriors supporters.
Yeah.
So again, we can't create that home ground atmosphere.
No. Anyway.
Okay.
What does this result tell us about where we're at the moment?
I think despite a couple of heavy losses, for the most part, the boys have been committed through this injury crisis that we've had. They've tried at times, really tried. So I think hopefully it only, I don't want to use the word galvanise, but I hope it only galvanises us for this run home, because we're starting to get our players back. There's reports that Samuela will be back earlier than expected.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully this hard period that we've been through in the middle of the season galvanises us to get through for a stretch into the finals.
I agree. Shout out to Adel. Our season's not over, just FYI. Just, pop that little negative thought back. There's still a long time to go.
Yes.
And that starts this Sunday. Yep. Round 17, the Newcastle Knights up in Newcastle, Sunday afternoon, 4:05 kickoff. So the team list, there have been a few changes. So Jareem's still at the back with Tito, and we've brought Giral back onto the other wing because, as you mentioned, Patrick Herbert's been injured, so Strathfield moves to the centres with Taylor May. A few people were questioning where Giral was for those few weeks, and Sean had told me that he had failed his HIA protocols a couple of weeks in a row. So obviously he is back. He is ready to go. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing him. He's a hard runner. Then we have in the halves Jerome Luai and Adam Dewey. Oh. Praise the Lord. Considering, of course, because Jock, as you said, HIA protocols, 11 days stand down, misses this weekend's game. In the front row, Terrell and Whenua are named to start with Appy at hooker, Tony Suka and Sione Fainu in the back row, and then Mr. Reliable, Mr. 99%, Alex Twal in the number 13
big
jersey.
Ins, aren't they? Massive
Huge ins. I won't go through the rest of the team because we're sort of running out of time a little bit, but how big is the return of Adam Dewey to start off with?
Just his kicking game is going to be huge. And just I think it gives the team confidence when he plays in that halves. And he'll be up against Dylan Brown, and I think he's got a lot more chance to nullify what Dylan Brown can do than what Paul Jockey.
Here's a question. Who is partnering with Dylan Brown? Because from memory, Newcastle have had the most halves pairings of any team in the history of the NRL. Like there's not been 2 weeks in a row where Dylan Brown has had the same halves. I don't know.
Fletcher?
I didn't actually look in.
Oh, yeah, I haven't looked at that. And
then which Fletcher? There's two.
Fletcher Sharp.
Fletcher Hunt, Fletcher Sharp. Alex Twal. So I was reading today, he's still not 100% green light. He's still got to go through a few
he had a lot of strapping around that knee.
Yeah, a few medical tests. Shout out to Alex Seyfarth. We love you, but please stop injuring our own players. But what would it mean if we did have Twali out there?
It just tightens that middle. We know how well he doesn't miss a tackle, and he's got an offload through that middle. So I think it just brings so much more composure and so much more leadership with RP in that middle part of the game.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying before about that just game experience. Yes. It's completely different having someone like Alex Twal. Even though Alex Seyfarth has been with us for a long time, he hasn't played full games. Like he did very well those last two games, but we need to, what's the word I'm looking for, control his minutes because sooner or later it's going to catch up with him. We're going to have the brain snaps. Yeah, we're going to have those Seyfarth brain snaps come back in. So even if Twali's not 100%, but could at least start, and then you've got Seyfarth on the bench, and they can, you've got both of them there. Yep. So rather than playing Seyfarth for the full 80 minutes like we have the last 2 weeks, you've got, or even have Twali come off the bench. Either way, getting Twali out there at some point
absolutely
is going to be a huge benefit to this side. So which matchups do you think could decide this particular game?
Stars going to need to have a huge game this weekend against Bradman Best. And we know Stars capable of doing it. He had a great game last week. He scored a really good try. But he can sometimes ebb and flow into games. He can look like the world's best outside back, and then he'll turn up the following week and let in too many tries and make too many.
A few people have mentioned maybe Stafford's not a centre, that he's a winger, because he did have a great game.
That try that he scored was all upper body strength. It was a fantastic try.
The Newcastle edges,
they worry me. The back seven worry me.
Pretty full on. Yeah. We keep Dom Young quiet. They don't score because Dom Young is the Mark Nawana Ninawase of the Knights, and I know I just butchered that, but without him, they don't score points. So that is going to be a huge test for us defensively on the edges, and we know that we're possibly not the greatest defensively on the edges.
And don't kick to him.
No. No.
Goes out saying he's the tallest bloke in the world just about. Don't kick to him.
No, exactly. We don't have, Sam Weller and KPP out there to nullify him. So we need to, keep him as quiet as possible. Where can we take advantage in this game?
again, we've spoken about our middle forwards. I think with trial back and then obviously AD leading those pack around, I think that's where if these two players weren't named, then I'd be a little bit more concerned. But I think that just strengthens our middle. We've got to punch through the middle to keep their backs quiet. We can't get them into the game. Yeah.
I'm a little bit with Twali back. And then even if Benji does the last minute swap again with Bunty starting and Fanua coming off the bench, shout out Benji for taking my idea. That's worked so well.
It has.
The last 2 weeks. So I think if, do that again, have Bunty with those really aggressive runs off the bench, and then Fanua's got a little bit more lateral movement in him than Bunty. So getting him in that middle third of the game before and after halftime where he can move around a little bit more.
And if you look at both benches at the moment, had named, they're quite similar. Having Bunty come into the starting side and putting Fanua on the bench actually puts the bench rotation, I think, in our advantage.
Strengthens our, cool. This game, what bearing does it have on the rest of our season, do you think?
I think that's why we've gone with AD and Twali to come back probably earlier than expected. I think Benji and coaching staff know that we're getting to that point where it's now or never.
Yeah.
And they're just throwing everything in.
We sort of talked about that on Saturday night, drowning our sorrows back at the Sherwood. And Brett said, the team list selections will tell the fans whether Benji's given up on this season or not. And the fact that Adam is named and Twali is named shows me that Benji hasn't given up. No. And if Benji hasn't given up, it means the boys and we shouldn't be giving up. Score prediction. What do you think the score is going to be for this one?
24-12. Tried to Buller because he's actually scored, I think I've got the stats here, 6 tries in 5 games against the Knights.
Oh, nice.
So, 24-12 with a Buller try.
I think the big thing for the score for me is the weather. If it's dry, it's going to be a high-scoring game. If it's dry, 34-26 is my prediction. If it's wet, much closer to yours, much lower scoring game. I think we have much more opportunity to nullify them if it's a wet game.
And how do we take Ponga out in a legal play, not an illegal play? Can we get some luck and have one of their players? I don't wish injury on anybody. Come on, I shouldn't say that. But
he is definitely one that does have a good concussion in him. So, maybe a head slam. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, guys, we will wrap up this week's episode. We are both going to head out to Orange Grove on Sunday to watch the game. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch the game, you're not heading up to Newcastle, come out to the Orange Grove Hotel. Rach and I will be there. There'll be a few other guys from the ambush there as well. But next week, don't quite know who will be joining me because unfortunately you won't be out. You will have work, but we are working on something. So stay tuned on the socials for that one and we'll make sure that we let you know. So crazy that this is episode 10 already. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on Saturday out at Lidcombe and go the